Just over the past couple of weeks, we've learned of a major gun running bust in New Britain. Hundreds of guns recovered, many of them ghost guns. The president has been talking about the dangers of these weapons, and so has the mayor of Hartford, Luke Bronin. He joins us this morning. Mayor Bronin, I could give stats that would take up this entire interview. There seems to be so much out there about these ghost guns, but I think the one most alarming is that already this year, Hartford police have confiscated more ghost guns, 3 times as many as they did in all of 2019. So is this problem growing in the capital city?
There's no question it's growing everywhere in the country, everywhere in Connecticut. Look, 3, 4, 5 years ago, when we talked about the problem of ghost guns, it may have been a problem on the horizon, a more distant issue. Now it is a very real, present, and growing issue in communities around the state and around the country. And these are guns that no law-abiding citizen should have any business with. They're designed to be untraceable. They're designed to allow folks to make an end run around common sense gun laws. And they are increasingly showing up in crime, and our police are increasingly taking them off the street as they do the difficult, dangerous daily work of getting illegal guns off the streets.
Explain the logistics of why it's so tough, Mayor. Obviously, officers are looking for any illegal weapons that they find on the street, anything that might make your city more dangerous. But what is it about the untraceability that frustrates their efforts?
Well, needless to say, when a weapon is untraceable, it makes it a lot harder for our officers to conduct the kind of investigation that they would normally do, to link a particular projectile to a particular weapon, to trace what weapon is used in what crimes, to try to find the ultimate origin of that weapon so you can figure out how it made it to the streets in the first place. There's a whole bunch of things that are more difficult when the weapons are untraceable. And you should say ghost guns really refers to untraceable weapons that can come in a few different forms. Sometimes they're weapons that are printed on 3D printers from designs that are simply downloaded from the internet. Sometimes they are ordered in parts over the internet through the mail and then assembled. But in either case, ghost guns are a growing problem. And we've seen a proliferation of guns throughout our country in recent years. We're more and more seeing ghost guns as a big part of that problem.
So what do you want to see done about it? Obviously, there's all sorts of issues that the police are dealing with in your city, this being one of them. But how could this particular problem be addressed? What legislation, what change would you like to see happen?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm really grateful to our officers for the work that they do. They have been incredibly focused on getting illegal guns off the street, on solving violent crimes. Last year, in 2021, they took more illegal guns off the street than any year on record. And I'm really grateful to them for the work that they do and the professionalism with which they do it. But what we really need here is partnership at the federal, state, and local levels. We do have pretty good partnership at the state level. Connecticut has taken action to address the ghost gun problem to the extent that it can be addressed in a single state. But just like you really need common sense gun laws nationally, you need a common sense approach to ghost guns nationally. We need to be able to work hand in hand with the ATF, with the FBI, to try to disrupt the suppliers, to try to disrupt those who are making these designs available. And I'm grateful for the executive action that President Biden took a couple of weeks ago, but we really need Congress to step up and take some action here as well so we can have a fully functioning, robust partnership at the federal, state, and local level.
Certainly a lot of topics we can talk about in your city, Mayor. Another, if we can shift gears a little bit, is the budget that you just proposed, a reduction in the mill rate that I know you're proud of. Tell people what you want them to know about this budget proposal. When you took office, there was talk of bankruptcy. It's sort of a different state of affairs now, but still a high mill rate despite the reduction.
Yeah, when I took office, 6.5 years ago, let me be clear, the city was bankrupt. And we talked about bankruptcy because we were unwilling to just kick the can. We were determined to address the long-term fiscal challenges and get the city on a sustainable path. And working together with our unions, with our private sector partners, and with the state, and making some very, very tough decisions and some very deep cuts, we've been able to get the city onto a strong fiscal foundation. And in this budget that I proposed, we will reduce the property tax rate, the mill rate, by about 7.2%. That's the largest property tax rate reduction in decades. We still have a long way to go. We still want to drive that down in the years ahead. But I will say that sitting here 6 years ago and facing the fiscal crisis that we faced, it was unimaginable that at this point we would be in a position to reduce that property tax rate. And I'm grateful to my team and to all of the partners who've worked together to help make that happen. Now, I also want to say is one of the reasons that we're able to do that is because we're in a revaluation year. When you revalue all the property, it's a complicated year because residential values are way up, commercial values are way down. So different taxpayers will still feel different impacts from this reval. But by lowering that property tax rate, we make sure that everybody will be paying less than they otherwise would have if we hadn't been able to bring that property tax rate down.
Well, you've obviously done that before because reval was my next question. I want to shift gears one more time, Mayor. You're a lawyer, you're a politician. It caught my attention when you swore on Twitter this week, and it's because of a group that came to your city, a White Lives Matter group, and you retweeted a video. People called you out on swearing, and you said, listen, these are Nazis in our city. Just very quickly, and then I want to get to happier things. What do you make of that?
To me, this is not too complicated. I mean, this is not me calling them Nazis. They call themselves Nazis. I mean, this is a neo-Nazi organization that exists to spread hatred, vile rhetoric, and hopefully that vile rhetoric and hatred doesn't go further than that and represent a real threat to physical safety. But this is a self-avowed neo-Nazi group coming to my city, and they are contrary to everything that our country holds dear. A neo-Nazi group is by definition anti-American, and I think it's I'm not ashamed of the language that I use to describe what that organization is.
Let's leave them right there. We got 30 seconds left. Pitch something great that's coming in Hartford this summer, and we'll have you back to do more. But tell us one good thing coming to your city.
Well, you got a ton of stuff going on. I mean, look, yard goats are back up. Last night you had the Hartford Athletic taking on an MLS team down at Dillon Stadium. You've got so many retail stores opening up with brand new restaurants, bars, and retail shops. And we're going to have a packed and active summer, whether it's sports, arts, culture, festivals. Looking forward to the months ahead.
And we're looking forward to have you back to hear more about it. Thank you, Mayor Luke.